What is search engine optimization? Perhaps no other phrase or acronym evokes such a strong reaction in the marketing community. And lately, there have been many articles that simply decry search engine optimization, or SEO, as the boogeyman of the internet's ills. I want to take a little bit of time today and talk about something that's near and dear to me. You know, my entire internet marketing journey started by building websites without even a thought to SEO because it didn't exist then. But over time, you start to learn what it takes to get rankings in the search engines. And there's a lot of advice, especially back in the day before there were any types of ethical approach, best practices, or anything like that. I learned search engine optimization because I had a journalism background and I applied what I learned in journalism to building websites, and it worked. However, there's been a lot that's happened since then, and that's what I want to talk about today on today's episode of The Endless Coffee Cup. There was a recent study about the decline of Google's search results and the lack of quality. It lists search engine optimization as one of the reasons for the decline. Now, because of that, I think there needs to be an important discussion about what SEO is and what it isn't. And just like any tool, how it is used to accomplish different outcomes. I would state that many uses of SEO are simply attempts to fool Google through false relevancy, which gets to the heart of what SEO really might be. Is SEO defined simply a manipulation of factors to attain rankings? Or is it something more? For example, when I had my agency, a client retained my firm to market their business. Now, we found out through research that the business model actually created problems for the business and customers, and as a result, there were hundreds of negative reviews. But rather than correcting the issues, the business owners wanted my firm to help them outrank or eliminate the negative reviews and gain new customers. That particular situation, I think, is the difference between what I would call rankings-only SEOs and website optimization or a marketing consultant. You see, SEOs set on rankings, just rankings, would take that job in a minute. Marketing or optimization agencies or consultants might give their opinion and walk their way. Where would you be? In my mind, this determines the divide that we see in the world of SEO and why it is so undefinable as to what SEO is or what it stands for. This was confirmed by reading a recent discussion thread on Reddit, which presented a long-held view that is antithetical to what I think SEO really is. The discussion of those who work in SEO was about how their job stops at rankings. Once visitors go to the site, their job ends. What search visitors do at the site isn't their responsibility. In their interpretation of SEO, they can't be held responsible if the website, products, offer, or experience isn't enough to make the business successful. And I've seen this attitude since the beginning of SEO, a one-and-done type mentality. Of course, this type of approach is only half of what makes SEO such a powerful website marketing tool. In fact, it neuters it. It also leads to multiple scams and broken promises because rankings are the goal. When rankings are the goal, efforts to achieve rankings range from best practices to tactics that directly violate Google's recommendations, all to achieve short-term results. You see, when the rankings go away, when Google catches up to the tactics, it's just a shrug and an unsatisfying explanation along the lines of, well, Google changes. A longtime friend, one of the pioneers of SEO, Jill Whalen, described SEO as, quote, making websites the best they can be, unquote. To me, that statement, she reflected a distinct departure from the one-and-done tactics to a focus on developing businesses through their websites and beyond just rankings and visits, but to provide an outstanding visitor experience that builds trust, shows authority, ultimately for the purpose of building the business. Maybe search engine optimization isn't the best label for that kind of holistic approach. Just the words, search engine optimization. They simply describe the tactical functions of gaining rankings, where all the attention is focused on the search engine. Now, there are shared components of technical programming, such as redirect management, sitemaps, keywords. But the divergence is about the ultimate goal of the tactics. Despite the instructions to do things for the user first, there are many tactics that are necessary for accommodating the deficiencies of search engine retrieval technology, such as redirects and maintaining backlinks through a redesign of a website. Website optimization might be a better, more descriptive term that encompasses the full scope of the original intention. You see, while it would necessarily include tactics that assist the search engines in accurately spidering and indexing the website, it also implies a focus on the visitor, in the usability of the site, the accessibility of the website, and the building of the business. The factors that make SEO so effective, but seem to be lost in the communication of the practice, are many. Number one, writing. While this necessarily includes developing optimized content on the site and employing the page structures, the focus is on developing high-quality, informative, and authoritative articles that guide a visitor to their destination. Copy is written to inform and persuade, to sell. Now, this does not mean having SEOs write content. In fact, some of the most successful sites that have incredible rankings that I've worked with, they had great writers first, who were then trained in the basics of SEO second. Great writers are great thinkers, and they can integrate keywords and concepts into their writing without blatant stuffing or fractured sentences with forced keywords. It's not uncommon to see websites and blogs rank highly simply because the owner is a great writer, even if they know nothing about SEO. Number two, conversion optimization. This requires a knowledge and application of analytics as a method of measuring the effectiveness of a website and the effectiveness of the tactics used to acquire visitors. It necessarily makes judgments about the quality of visitors, as shown by their behavior on the website. It also focuses on the ease of use, the design, instructions, error messaging, and other factors to increase the conversions of existing campaigns. This practice alone has an immediate and direct impact on the profitability of a campaign, a website, and a business. Number three, accessibility. The accessibility of a website for screen readers and other assistive technology is also necessary for search engines. Making a website more accessible for users always makes it more accessible for spidering, and it increases the content available for spidering. In the early 2000s, most websites used programming and features that were not accessible for search engines or assistive technology users. How many of you remember Flash, JavaScript, scripting languages, and image-based content? Accessibility professionals and SEOs worked hand in hand, and usually independently though, but both were interested in improving the user experience all around by overcoming and eliminating these obstacles. Even today, An accessible site necessarily includes multiple devices, websites, and apps, functions, design considerations, instructions, and designing ease of use across multiple cognitive functions. Number 4, business goals and objectives. Understanding the principles of revenue and profitability and how they apply to each business creates a unique viewpoint of website optimization. By developing business goals rather than rankings goals, the emphasis is on increasing the effectiveness of the website as a comprehensive sales tool. Extending the visitor experience beyond the rankings develops trust and efficacy, which builds a long-term business brand. Now, granted, there are many business models and practices that are not successful. And in my experience, I've seen many good business ideas, and I've also seen some executed poorly. In these cases, we can act as consultants and guide recommendations. But ultimately, it will come to the point of contention between the business owner and the optimization specialist, especially one who is comprehensive in their approach. There's been many who, between clients and providers, have had to go their separate ways because of a chosen business structure or practice, as I mentioned earlier. Number 5, user experience and user interface. Now, this requires a knowledge of design, basic user experience, and interface usability principles, and updated industry knowledge from studies, articles, and tests. These are people that stay up to date on industry news and trends, not search engine trends, but the psychology of humans and how they interact with digital interfaces. You see, in understanding humans more than algorithms, it creates a deeper understanding of guiding humans through an interface with tasks and conversions. Now, of course, those of you that know me know I'm going here. Number 6 is analytics. Because how will you know that your efforts have worked beyond a few inaccurate ranking reports? To me, analytics is what separates amateurs from the professionals. Analytics that is used to find understanding, not reporting. Understands how to break down, segment, and measure actual financial impact of your efforts. Beware the report only without understanding. Of course, any SEO that stops at rankings isn't going to be concerned with the user experience. Quote, "That's the site owner's responsibility," they say. "It's not my fault if the website sucks." Let me ask the business owner, is this the kind of player you want as part of your team? One who doesn't care about the handoff of a visitor from the rankings to the website. I mean, we're talking about self-interest. Wouldn't a provider be self-interested in the success of the business in order to keep a client longer and potentially get more work? Or is it the fear of a person with a limited skill set staying away from other responsibilities and those that may challenge their work or their approach? Any experienced digital marketer would immediately realize that there are similar issues that they have learned from experience working on multiple other types of websites. After a time, for example, understanding user experience issues and interface issues could result in a massive improvement. At what point does search engine optimization stop and user experience start? Another factor in SEO that creates a division is the purpose of the SEO as applied to the type of business. You see, in many cases, SEO performed for many affiliate-based sites is a completely different approach than SEO applied to a typical lead generation, e-commerce, or publisher website. Throughout the history of SEO, the most aggressive SEO tactics were usually found, performed, and recommended by those developing affiliate-based marketing websites. When traditional businesses attempted to use the same tactics, they were burned by the short-term application when the next Google update eliminated their progress. Affiliate marketing is difficult and highly competitive. New sites are constantly looking for an advantage, but here's their problem. Google does not care if you are the 500,000th website selling affiliate products, just like everybody else. Very little separates you from the rest of the affiliate world who are selling the same thing. And because of that, tactics used by these marketers are more distinct, more aggressive, and focus on chasing the algorithm to find an edge over the rest of the market. And these tactics aren't necessarily in many other business applications. As a result, we've got a lot of advice from people in this side of the SEO industry that spills over into what I would say the traditional business advice, and businesses get burned. The divide becomes even clearer when the topic of building links is added into the mix. How those links are acquired will tell you everything you need to know about an SEO or an SEO company. Do they view links as a commodity that can be bought, sold, traded, or acquired quickly? Or do they view building backlinks as an extension of a marketing plan? You see, getting links comes back to one basic principle: marketing. How are you marketing, promoting your website? You might be writing articles and content, but are they anything that someone else would want to quote, publish, or comment on? Have you established relationships with opinion leaders or influential people that would promote you? Do you have anything newsworthy that could be promoted as PR, public relations? Are you promoting anything to news outlets, industry publications, or other bloggers? Have you created original research, case studies, or surveys that others could quote or use in their content development? Here's the bottom line about marketing for link building. People will link to your content if they like it and if they can use it to promote themselves. It's marketing. And this is the clear divide. There are fundamental tactics that have been the same for over 2 decades. Many businesses are still doing well and have never been diminished by updates as they approached SEO according to the Google guidelines and focused on a long-term strategy to build the business. They did the basics, but they also executed a marketing strategy that was more about building relationships and authority in the industry than it was studying a backlink profile or measuring domain authority. This is also why many great content creators are able to make affiliate marketing work. Rather than buying backlinks and resorting to the old methods of tricking search engines, they're out there creating content that is good. It's entertaining, it's engaging, it's enjoyable, and people want to see it. Conversely, people that chase short-term tactics that expose a feature of the algorithm, well, they'll see success for a short time until they get caught in the next update. See, these two worlds that fall under the SEO banner are simply incompatible, and they need to be separated as they define the reputation of SEO and how it's viewed. I think the industry needs a split between those of us who view SEO more holistically as part of a business-focused website optimization. We need to separate from the reputation of SEO as a snake oil, chase the algorithm, temporary success, rankings only mentality. Maybe we need another word, another discipline. We need another provision for the practitioners who serve their clients and their businesses who rely on those services. Maybe it could be website optimization, as you're optimizing a website beyond simply the search engines, but for people and ultimately building businesses. Anymore, I'm becoming wary of any SEO-defined services, as they tend to be a tunnel vision proposal for search-only optimization. And when that occurs, the vision and the practice of the techniques, they're limited, and they'll fail. My advice is to avoid anyone who only optimizes for rankings. Look for those that will help you build your business instead. So what do you think? Are we due for a split in the industry? Where do you stand? I'd love to know. Leave me a note in the comments, contact me, come to the show page, and leave a comment. Until then, I've enjoyed this cup of coffee with you. I look forward to the next one on the Endless Coffee Cup Podcast.